Good afternoon, everybody. How are you feeling today? This is what democracy looks like, right? I want you to be proud of yourselves. I want you to look at yourselves and say, this is what democracy looks like, right? Thank you. My name is Justin Early. I'm a veteran. I'm a cybersecurity professional. I'm a father, but I'm also your neighbor. I grew up here in Central Texas. I live here, I work here, and my family is here. And I want to tell you guys how I'm feeling. I was feeling very frustrated. Does anybody feel frustrated? Do y'all feel frustrated? And I'm not talking about the kind of frustration that you give up because you're frustrated. I'm talking the frustration where, you want to do something. And not a frustration that you ask somebody else to do something. The frustration that comes from within you because you need something to be done, right? Frustration can hone focus. And I don't want you to confuse frustration for anger, because anger can blind you. The systems that we are fighting against today, when we shout no kings, they want us to be angry because then we get unorganized. We become disinterested and we become blinded to what they're doing. So let me talk about what's going on today. We all know who ICE is, right? And what ICE is doing. But I want you to understand what ICE has become. We talk a lot in this country about security, but we don't talk about job security. We don't talk about healthcare security. We barely talk about the security of your own home. What we always seem to go on is border security. But ICE is no longer about border security. It's about money. Right now, 90% of everyone in ICE custody is being held in a facility run by a private for-profit company. There are two companies specifically, Geo Group and Core Civic, that have built business models on human beings' lives. Last year, GEO Group made a record $254 million in profit, a 700% increase. And their CEO called 2025 the most successful year of new business in their company's history. That should outrage you. That should frustrate you. That should hone your focus, because you have people on Wall Street today waiting for your neighbors to be picked up. In their earnings call, what they were most frustrated about, they said ICE were not picking up your neighbors fast enough. I want you to think about that. Wall Street, when they talk about how many gains are being won and lost on there, what are they really talking about? Are they talking about your work ethic coming back to your pocket? Or are they talking about picking up people off the streets and putting them into private prisons for profit? You need to understand exactly where we are today for us to fix these things. We shout no kings. We understand that it means everyone up and down who is supporting this administration. 71% of people who have died in ICE custody died in these for-profit facilities. And that is not law enforcement. That is a privatized military being paid for by our tax dollars. If a king needed an army, I think he found one. So understand, every time we talk about ICE with your signs and stuff, we need to make sure we understand what exactly we're talking to and talking about. If you know somebody who works there, make sure they understand what side of history they are on. Make sure you keep talking to them about what we need to do to fight this administration. So why does this keep working? Why does this keep happening? There's an old Roman, satirist who wrote about bread and circuses. If you guys ever heard of it, if you keep feeding people just enough and keep them entertained just enough, they actually won't ask for what they are owed. And that is the situation we've been in today. We see where bread and food prices are at. We see where gas prices are going. We see where entertainment for facilities such as this are at. To try to do something, it's never enough. Groceries go up and they give us a tax credit. Healthcare becomes unaffordable and they give us a subsidy. Wages stall for 30 years and they want to tell us, do you know women make less than men? We know that, but who's the one writing the paychecks? Okay? Just enough is never enough. So when we get used to these things, we need to make sure we don't call it generosity. We demand what we are owed. When we shout no kings, it's more than one man. It's more than one administration. It is the system that we are being subjugated underneath. When we fight for these things, I want you to understand as well, they're trying to feed us a culture war in order to distract us so they can pick our pockets the entire time. Because the distracted people is the people who doesn't notice that they're being robbed. And that's also how you start a war at 2:30 in the morning with a 4-minute video posted online. You don't go to Congress. You don't have a declaration of war. You just post it online for people to go see. The Constitution states clearly in Article 1, Section 8, that the Congress declares war. Not the president, Congress. Congress. Someone asked me, they said, hey, if you were in that position, would you allow the military to go and invade Iran? Would you have gone and done that? And I thought that was an amazing question. Because I said, when did that happen? Because nobody told me. Nobody showed up and said, hey, hey, Congress, hey, the American people, here's why we need to go to war. Give me your sons and daughters to go to Iran for these reasons. You have an imminent threat coming to hurt your tax dollars, your way of life. So we're going to send your people over there to defend your way of life. None of that happened. So how can we demand more accountability if they're not even starting off with showing us what is happening? This is the 20th time since World War II that a president has started a major military action without Congress's approval. That tells me this is a systemic problem. This is not just one administration. This is a systemic problem. This first 6 days of the war, cost $11 billion. And today, it's about $25 billion that it's been costing the American tax dollars. And the same people who are asking for your vote in order to get more money, another $200 billion for a war, are the same people who voted for the $186 billion to take away from your health care. We've had 13 American soldiers pass away in the conflict so far. More than 1,000 Iranian civilians, of which 200 of them were children. All of this while we are trying to argue a culture war that no one will ever win, because we are more alike than we are apart. Everyone around you here, look at the diversity around you. Look at the people here who are shouting for justice. Look at the people here. These are your friends and neighbors. They are not your enemy. They are your friends. They are your people. They are your American citizens that you should love. So let's connect the dots. We have ICE agents kicking indoors of community so Wall Street can celebrate that the Dow Jones went over 50,000. We have private companies demanding that more human beings belong in cages. We have a war started without Congress's approval, with no accountability, no authorization, and no plan. We have DOJ continually cutting federal programs and calling it efficiency. These are not separate issues. These are all the same issues. These are the actions of a false king who wants to destroy America in order to rule over its ashes. A system that answers to one man and makes money for him and his friends. So when I tell you the system is broken, I'm not speaking theoretically. I'm explaining to you the systemic breakdown and the tearing down of our systems right in front of our eyes. So here's what we need to do next. The first thing I want you to do is I want us to stop softening what this is. This is true authoritarianism. We live in this system today. Call it to its face. Share your frustration, but change your frustration to conviction. I want to see conviction in your faces when you say no kings. I want to see conviction when you talk about fighting next. I want to see conviction in your being when you talk about we are going to take back this country. The second thing we all need to do, is we need to demand accountability. Our system is a system of justice and laws. It is a democracy where we vote in people like us to represent us. If you don't have a representative who represents you, vote them out. Congress has the power of the purse. Congress has the subpoena power. Congress has the power to declare war and to end war. Demand they use their power. This is what elections are for. This is what rallies are for. This is so you can understand that you are not alone. This is so you can feel comfort in your neighbor, to understand that there are more out there that are like you than there are apart. They are building us to have more of a culture war. They are telling you that elections need to be protected so they can take women off the voting rolls. They are telling you that gas prices are going up because nobody gets along with a certain orange in a chair. Do not fall for the rhetoric. Do not fall for that. Demand accountability. The third thing I want you to do, and to me this is the most important thing, I want us to remember not only who we are, but what we could be. Because America has never, ever lived up to its own ideals. Not in 1776, not in 1865, and not in 1965. But in every single one of those moments, ordinary people just like you and just like me decided to stand up and do something to push that gap from reality to the dream and keep fighting for it. Every generation inherits a test. This is our test. This is our fight. And just like the previous generations had to fight, make sure you understand how you are fighting on the right side of history. That is what this rally is to me. That is what No Kings means to me. When I say the words no king, it's the conviction within me to say, we are going to do more. I'm going to do everything in my being to fight for you, my friends, my neighbor, my family. We have people dying in detention facilities for unknown reasons. We have American soldiers going off to war for unknown reasons. My own son is in the United States Army, and I am fearful every day of when he's going to be deployed for something that we have no idea why. You similarly have sons, daughters, friends, neighbors with the exact same situation. Take these things, that's your conviction, and we will fight with it. Every person who has died and been deployed, everyone outside of here, they are somebody's mother, they are someone's father, they are somebody's family. Remember that. Every person in this rally knows these feelings and knows this frustration. So I want you to take that frustration and make it conviction. Don't let anger blind us, because anger is a brick through a glass window. Don't let that happen, because the system wants you to be angry, because anger does things that they can arrest you for. But frustration, they can't fight that. Frustration, when you say, I'm not going to renew my Hulu subscription, they can't fight that. When you say, I'm not going to take the next step and go along with this administration, they can't fight that. When you sit there and say, I'm going to do the best thing for my country, my friends, my neighbors, and go and vote, they can't fight that. This is what service looks like. This is what democracy looks like. This is what No Kings looks like. We serve each other to make our families stronger. We serve to make our neighbors freer. And we serve to make America what it has always claimed it could be. Not great again, but finally. So if you'll indulge me, repeat after me real quick. No kings. No kings. No private armies. No private armies. No wars without Congress. No wars without Congress. And no one above the law. We're not asking, y'all. We're demanding. My name is Justin Early. Thank you.